thinking more and more about the topic, and it's kind of unique that we're going to be able to do something like this. Not very often do you get a chance to have something that is potentially political actually be practical.
Yeah, and we'd like to think that people can take it in the way that it's intended, and that it's an opportunity to help other people. And usually nonprofits are asking for people to give to them, whereas in this situation, somebody can actually, the nonprofits or the churches can actually, give something back too.
Sure.
The support.
Well, as we were talking in the office, why don't you go ahead and just give us a little briefing in terms of what are some of the areas that the big, beautiful bill is going to have some changes happen?
Well, I think the one that there's lots of stuff in there, and I think that the main thing that we're talking about or wanting to talk about today really has to do more with churches and nonprofits and even small business owners. But there are some provisions in the bill that are requiring folks to have do some volunteer work or actual have a job for 80 hours a month, and those are for some certain folks that are capable. So it's not an across the board thing, but folks that are, for example, folks that may have some mental health illness or disabilities, maybe folks who are undergoing addiction work, if they're full-time caregivers for somebody who's disabled or a child, veterans and tribal members. There's a lot of folks who are not going to be held to this standard of 80 hours a month. But for those who are able, it's an opportunity, I think, for the church to possibly give them some opportunities and maybe get some great help too.
So the type of health care that somebody would be on that this would affect, are we talking about the marketplace, or is there another type of health insurance where people are getting it, for free? It's being paid by somebody else.
Yeah, it's Medicaid. So it's folks that are on Medicaid, and the new bill is basically saying, if you're going to get Medicaid, but you're able to do some work, we're going to require you to document that work at a legitimate business or entity that can document that for someone. It's not like if you go, to your grandma's house and mow the lawn, that's nice, but it's not necessarily going to count for the bill. And so it's got to be a legitimate organization who's documenting some hours for you, so that when you go in for your twice a year, these folks will go in for their review and they'll say, so where have you done your 80-hour service per month? And if they can't produce anything, then they are at risk of losing their Medicaid. And so they lose their health care. But they will give them another 30 days to come back with a completed list for 80 hours in the next month. And so maybe at some point in time that pastors or local leaders, business people, nonprofit leaders might make themselves available if they have some things that they need some help with. That would also be a good opportunity for these folks to be able to do something meaningful to them.
So for a small business to track what's going on, it's not going to be hard, because you're going to have some sort of a payroll system, and they're going to log in the 20 hours at volunteer rate of 0. So, I mean, you've got a record of the hours it did. Well, how does that impact, let's say, like a nonprofit or a church? How are they going to be able to work within this framework to have volunteer work for them?
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's going to need to be all that official looking. I think it's going to, and I'm not sure that everybody knows exactly. I think there's the possibility that in different areas, the documentation could be different. But I think what they need to be able to do is bring in probably a piece of paper signed by somebody who's in charge of something, a nonprofit, a business, or a church, and saying, this person did this work for this many hours. and a signature. I think that's probably the kind of documentation that they're going to need.
So what's potentially some of the benefits, let's say, for a nonprofit or a church by making themselves available to have volunteers come in and work with their organization?
Well, I think first of all, it's an opportunity maybe for some folks who are already helping out. Maybe they're teaching Sunday school, or maybe they're on a committee, or maybe they're also already involved. Maybe they need somebody to help with the bulletins on Sunday morning, whatever. So it's an opportunity to get folks who are maybe already helping out to get something that they can document, and they may not be thinking about it that way. So it would be a legitimate way for them to document some things that they're already doing. But I think there's some opportunities for folks who may need some opportunities and hadn't really thought about their church or the local nonprofit or whatever. And so the idea of, that kind of relationship that happens in church, or to people that who maybe don't come to your church, who might like to have an opportunity to get these hours documented.
So there's nothing in the bill that talks specifically about the type of volunteering that you're doing, just that you're doing it. So it's just as valid for somebody to say, like, come and help us stuff a mailing with our volunteers that do that on a regular basis, or maybe be a part of a community cleanup crew that goes and rakes leaves and stuff for some of the elderly. But the idea is that it's not just me doing something on behalf of another person. It's actually me being a part of an organized effort on behalf of a nonprofit that I'm doing my volunteering. Is that right?
Yeah, I think the idea is, my thought on it is, it's just an opportunity for folks to do something with the church, or the church to give somebody an opportunity, or a nonprofit or a business owner even, give somebody an opportunity to contribute, and then also get hours recorded so they don't lose their health benefits, because that's not good for anybody. And so, yeah, it's just I don't think it has a lot of guidelines on it yet. I think that our government, if it does its normal behaviors, it will get more complicated.
Sure.
But that's not my wish for it. But I think that's a possibility. But right now, it's pretty generic.
Well, it does sound like a great opportunity for the church to get to know some of the people that are in the community that normally they probably wouldn't have any interaction with.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times there's those folks that come in and you've got an opportunity to, maybe you don't know them, or maybe you bump into them around town or whatever, and that'd be an opportunity for you to say, hey, we've got some things that need to be done. Do you want to, you're interested in getting involved or not? And not everybody might have places that they feel comfortable that they can go do that at.
Sure. Yeah. If I'm out there listening to our talk today, and I wanted to find out a little bit more about it, but I don't really have the time to go through and dig through the big, beautiful bill, would I be able to reach out to you a little bit and have a conversation?
Yeah, sure. I think the simplest way is just to send me an email. That's the fastest way for me, because I end up being a lot of meetings. But go ahead and send me an email, and we'll be glad to go back and forth on it. Maybe have a phone call.
Well, thanks, Rob. Appreciate your time to be able to talk about this topic. It's kind of neat to see a piece of legislation that could actually potentially really have some positive benefits for both the individuals as well as the business and or nonprofit world. So appreciate your time.
Yeah, and I think this goes right in line with the foundation and wanting to help people be able to be more generous, right? And the idea that, there's no way nonprofits or a church could afford to pay somebody's health benefits, but or a large group of them. But this is a way to help somebody, not only get involved, but also to help them with that. And so it's kind of it's an opportunity to hope that maybe will help churches and nonprofits get in touch with some more folks in their community.
Yeah. Well, hey, if you got any questions, or if you'd like to learn more about this topic, you can see Rob's information right here on the screen. Be sure and just send him an email. If you'd like to support the foundation financially, you can find links to do that both in the show notes as well as the YouTube description. So on behalf of Rob Talbott, Josiah White's Cricketdale Foundation, and Partners in Ministry, I want to thank you for taking the time to watch this episode. And in the meantime, until we get together again, let's get out there and serve as Christ serves.